Good afternoon, everybody. Everybody can hear me? Yeah. Thank you for the warm welcome, Nikita and Mayuri. Uh, you already gave me all my introduction, so I don't think there's anything left. Do you have the clicker? The clicker? Yeah. So yeah. One more thing actually, I am also a part of this group called Pune Mobile Developers. We usually do meetups once a month or 2 months. So this is actually focused on mobile technology. So it would be good if you can check us out. I'm giving another talk on reactive programming in Android the week after next on 25th of November. So yeah, it will be good if you can check this out. Uh, in the Firebase app actually, when me and Sachin was there, four of us, we got together, we created this team and we created this app, and we were selected as the winner of the Firebase app test. So the demo app that I'm going to show you is exactly the same app. It still has some loose ends, there's some memory leak, it crashes, it's still a work in progress. But for Firebase features, to display Firebase features is good. So it's open source, so I'll give you the link so you can actually check it out and you can create your own version of that app. So yeah, welcome to Introduction to Firebase. So just a few more things. How many of you are actually professional app developer, Android, iOS, or web app developer? Okay, it's a good number. How many are students? Oh, that's huge. So it's good that you're learning this. So we'll discuss like what is Firebase, how it solves our problems, and how we can use it to ease our, lot of you are students, so you probably don't know, but those of you who are professional developers, you know that developing an app is not easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of problems. You have to deal with network connectivity, right? There's so much things to deal with. Apart from the actual development, then you have to deal with code quality. You want to make your app testable. So we'll see how Firebase helps us in all the stages of app development. So let's say you have an idea of an app, right? If you have an idea for an app, so let's say you are an Android developer, so it's easy. You can develop an Android app. No big deal. Because you're already an Android app developer, you can develop it. But once you want to expand your user base, you cannot ignore iOS users. So you'll have to create an iOS app also. Then you will want a web app also, right? Because a lot of services that you see already has web portal and Android app and iOS app, probably Windows app also. So one of the most important things here that we are forgetting is the backend. The backend, when you actually deal with the backend, even if you want to create a simple app, as simple as photo sharing or just chatting application, you will have to do this. And deal with this, just look at like so many servers, and you start building this. This is a project in itself. When you start building the backend, you'll have to think about servers. You'll have to think about load balancing. How many servers? How will they communicate with each other? How will they? What are they use? Will it be SQL database like MySQL or Postgre or Oracle? Or will it be NoSQL databases like CouchDB or MongoDB? So there's just too many options here. And once you deal with this, then you'll have to think about security. Then you'll have to think about authentication and scalability. It's working good for 100 users. What if your user base grows from 100 to a million? Will it be able to handle this? So, and this is the time we as developers, or maybe a startup or a small group or a small team of developers, right? This is the time we spend on something that your user does not even see. So, okay, raise your hand if you care about what is the backend that Facebook or WhatsApp uses. Nobody cares. So, except those two guys. So, I mean, as a user, as an end user, I'm talking about, not as a developer. As an end user, we don't care what is the backend that you're using, right? Your user will not see this. Your user will care about how is the user experience, how is the UI, and every second that you spend on this is a second that you're not spending on developing the app, making it more beautiful, making it more reactive. So let's see how Firebase helps here. So Firebase, I've heard people say it's a framework and all. No, Firebase is a unified app development platform for mobile, for Android, iOS, and web. And Firebase helps you in every single stage of your app development, right from the idea, then you're developing it, then you want to test it across various devices, then you'll want to like debug it, and once your app is ready, you'll want to publish it, and once you publish it, Firebase helps you with the grow part of it, help you grow your audience. What is the point of having an app that is probably the best app in the world, but nobody uses it? There's no point in it. So Firebase helps you helps you with growing your audience. How will you engage your audience? How you get more audiences? Firebase helps in here also. And there have been recently on 31st October, there was a Firebase Apps Dev Summit in Amsterdam, and there have been some awesome announcements there. So I did not get enough chance to actually experiment with the new announcements, but I'll be talking about it. Sorry. Yeah. So once you develop, you'll deal with real-time databases. So what is this? This is a NoSQL JSON database. So your database is on the server. It's just single one JSON, and all your data is there. And okay, before I say anything else, I just want to say that Firebase is not paying me to advertise this. So whatever you're listening today is a core developer's opinion. What I faced, what I felt after using this for over a year. And this real-time database, the real-time is not a marketing term. Real-time as in it will give you data in the real time. I'll show you the demo with this. That's real-time database. You store your data in the JSON, in one single JSON, and you can export it, you can import it. It syncs data across devices seamlessly. Excuse me. Then there is authentication. We are talking about just the development part first. So then there is authentication. So for all the people who are app developers here, right? Have you implemented third-party sign-ins? Sign in with Facebook or Google, or sign up with email? How many of you have implemented sign up with email? Okay, quite a few people. So sign up with email. If you have an app, you want to know your user's identity, right? You want people to sign in with either Facebook, or you want to allow users to sign up with Google, or just the email, right? So the users can actually pick their email, they can select their password. Implementing authentication is a project in itself. Once you create user sign up and email, right, email login, you'll have to think about the forgot password flow, right? Who will think of the template? Who will have the server to maintain it? Authentication is a one-stop solution for this. Firebase authentication helps you with regular email ID sign up and email login, third-party providers. Even if you have your existing auth systems, which probably uses like OAuth 2 or something, you can connect with authentication. And it also supports phone numbers also. Phone number authentication, if you want to implement in your apps, in Android or iOS apps, if you want to implement it, you will have to deal with third parties. You will have to think of some other services like Twilio, which you will call an API, they will send an SMS, and you'll tell the user to enter the SMS, then the phone number will be verified. With Firebase authentication, you can use phone number verification seamlessly. And then there's cloud storage. So when you're building a server, the backend is not just about REST APIs. It's not just about database. It's also about cloud storage. It's also about storage. You will want to store users, like images also, images, audio, video, maybe game files you want to store. Cloud storage for Firebase is the solution for this. Hosting a solution where you can host your static web files like HTML, CSS, or even images and videos also you can host. With hosting, the one important thing that you get is in the free tier also you can connect your custom domains. So you can create something like yourname.com with hosting for no additional charges. Once you have a user base of more than say 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 people, right? Then you'll have to pay. But for lesser number of users, you won't have to pay. You can create an entire website, a static website, with using hosting, just using command line tools, and that's it. And you will get SSL by default. If you're creating a website by yourself, you'll have to think about SSL certificates because it will be HTTP. If you want to think about security, if you want to add security, You'll need to create SSL certificates, add it to your server, and yeah, it's a big thing. I mean, it's a big task just to create a static website. It's a static, and it's because it uses the CDN network, delivery network. It's very fast, and when you combine it with cloud functions, you can make it dynamic. And cloud functions, I know that it's very hard to pick favorites among these products of Firebase, but I can say with some confidence that cloud functions is one of my favorites. Cloud functions allows you to run server-side logic in the server. It will let you run a JavaScript code in the server without having to manage the server, without ever having to buy the server. It lets you do that. And cloud functions connect seamlessly with authentication, with real-time database, with cloud storage, with hosting. You can connect it with all the other Firebase features, most of the Firebase features, to get a truly dynamic experience. So now let us see, you have developed the app. Now you want to, no app is perfect. There will be bugs intentionally sometimes and sometimes unintentionally. So crash reporting helps you there. I don't know if you have heard or not. You've probably already heard it, but Fabric is now part of Firebase. So with Fabric, this crash reporting will be gradually upgraded to Crashlytics, which was one of my favorite tools before Fabric became a part of Firebase. And say your app is ready. Now you want to test it across, say, all the popular devices. You want to test it across all the popular devices, various screen resolutions. You want to test your app in big size screens, in tablets, on phones, on Samsung phones, on Asus phones, across manufacturers. So testing it. So you got two options, right? Either buy all those phones and test it, which is very impractical, or you can use TestLab. There are other solutions, of course. There are things like Amazon device farming. So, but yeah, in Firebase TestLab, what you can do is just upload your APK. It will run a robocrawler test and unit test cases. It will give you a report in actual devices. It will run on actual Moto X. It will give you the report how it ran on Moto X. What is your unit test cases, instrument test cases. So you can test it on the various devices without having to own or buy the devices. That's TestLab. And yeah, with Fabric also comes performance. So for performance monitoring is something where if let's say you've created a wonderful app, right? But you want to know how is it performing? Is it taking more time to load? Is my app performing good in the US? It's probably taking more time to load in India or probably Italy. You want to figure that out. Performance is the way to go. It will give you insights about your app. We'll discuss about all this in details. This is just we'll just do the introduction first. So once, let's say, you have developed the app. Now let's talk about growing your application, growing your business. Analytics is the core part of Firebase. It connects with all the other Firebase features. It helps you understand your users' behavior. It helps you take, the marketing decisions, product manager decisions you can take using analytics. So like most of these features it will provide you some functionality right out of the box. Without a single line of code, you will get at least some functionality. You want more, you can write this. You can add those functionalities. You can add some extra lines of code. This is analytics. So you can see things like you want to identify who are the users in my app who have done some purchases, who are the users of my app who have cleared level 4 of the game. Analytics will log those events. Conversion events also you can do. You will see that. Next is cloud messaging. So everybody is aware of cloud messaging, right? Push notification. Everybody is aware? Yeah. So when you think about cloud messaging, right? So if you're creating an app, you're actually creating a solution. When you do that, and you want to send a push notification to your users. As an app developer, you will want to send this push notification to your iOS users also, to your Android users also, and both have actually different structure to send notifications and all, right? With cloud messaging, you can send it seamlessly across devices, and it works across platforms easily. Dynamic links, these are smart short URLs, so that you can link a particular content in your app with the link. And the best part about dynamic links is it survives install. So let's say I sent a link to Mayuri. Okay, you install my app. Check out this awesome app I created, and she installs it. After the installation is done, in the on create, I'll get a call back. Okay, Kaushal referred Mayuri. So I can customize the app experience based on the dynamic link. It will survive the app install process entirely. Invite is actually built on top of dynamic links. So you can with this you can also customize and you can invite more users, and you can also track campaigns with invites. Of course, like if you have created a great app, you'll want to earn money, right? So Admob helps you there. With Admob, you can connect with analytics, and you can send targeted interstitial app advertisements to your app, and you can earn money. Remote config. This is also one of my favorites. This is like a config file on the server. With this, what you can do is you can segregate users based on various user properties or their location. So let's say I have a music player app. I have a music player app. I want a different onboarding, or I want a different tutorial for Indian users, a different tutorial for Italian users, and different for some US users. I can do that using Firebase Analytics without any change in the code, without having to redeploy my app, without pushing any updates. That's remote config. App indexing helps your users to get the content that they want right in the Google search. So if the user is looking for something in the Google search page of the phone, Google will result your app if you have done app indexing properly. So let's say I have an app that creates some memes. User is looking for kitten memes. My app will come there. User will directly be able to open the app from the Google search, and user will be taken to the kitten memes page. AdWords, this is Admob is how you earn money. AdWords is how you spend it for campaigns and all. So Firebase helps you there also. So yeah, that's Firebase. Technology that will help you in developing your business and growing your business, or as a developer, it will help you develop the app. It will grow your audience. It will help you grow your audience. That's Firebase. So it is not just a replacement for backend or database. If you have your existing backend, you can connect it with Firebase. And the best thing about Firebase is you don't have to use all this. You want to use the dynamic links, you can use it. You want to just use cloud storage, you can use it. There's no compulsion that you'll have to use everything. Then you'll be able to use it. So this is actually an older slide after this 31st October Dev Summit. They announced some more features like Crashlytics and specifically these ones. There's some improvement in Firebase performance monitoring. Then there is the Crashlytics. So crash reporting users will be upgraded to Crashlytics. Or if you are a Firebase Alpha user, and I recommend you to become a Firebase Alpha user so that you can get your hands on the products that are about to come. You can test it. You can give your feedback. You can help Firebase. You can help Firebase become better if you join Firebase Alpha program. I'll give you a link after the PPT. This Cloud Firestore. This is one of the most required features of Firebase, Cloud Firestore. With real-time database, like what it does is it stores data in one single JSON. With Cloud Firestore, you can separate it and you can store it in as a documents and collections. And the predictions. This is off the chart. This is so good that I'm not going to talk about it right now. Maybe later. In the later slides, I'll talk about it. Oops. Yeah, and if you want to ask anything, just please ask me right away. If you hold it till the end of the session, then I'll lose the context. You will lose the context. If it's taking more than 30-40 seconds, we'll take it after the session. Otherwise, we can discuss things right here. So another thing is Firebase and Google. They are focused that developer experience matters. So Firebase has been focused from day one that Firebase to make our life as a developer easier. Firebase has been focused into that from day one. So what they say is developer experience matters. So You can see for authentication, for real-time databases, as developers, like we have to do a lot of things, and with Firebase we can concentrate on the core things that actually matter instead of dealing with my backend databases or handling servers. With Firebase, you just focus on the thing that matters, and that is your app, the user experience that the user is going to see. And guess what? It's cross-platform. It's available on iOS, Android, and web. And if you're a game developer, you're probably using C++ and Unity with C#. So it's available for Unity as well. Getting started with Firebase is easy. Excuse me. Getting started with Firebase is easy. It's literally this easy. So if you want to add a Firebase in your project, right, in your app, you can just sign up for log in with your Google ID. And this is actually old console, but don't worry about it. These things are still the same. And this console got upgraded yesterday. So I don't have the latest console images, but I'll show you. Once you log in, you create a project. This is the page you will see. So you can add Firebase to your Android app, your iOS app, or your web app right from here. So let's say you click on iOS app. You enter the bundle ID. If you're familiar with iOS app development, it will look familiar. So you just enter the bundle ID. It's like Android applications package name. Then it will give you a plist file. Download it in applications root. Install the necessary pods. And this is the installation. In initialization code. So in app there is in iOS apps there is a app delegate file. You just put fireapp.configure. So this is also changed. This is now called Firebase app and configure. That's it. The configuration is done, and this is the console you see. Right here, when you open the Firebase project for the first time, this is the login view. You will see how many monthly active users, what are the in-app purchases, are there any errors or crashes, how many users are impacted. You will see all these things right here on the console. And on the left, you can see all the services available. So, yeah, among the Firebase features, let's talk about analytics first. Then we'll see how we can go about developing an app and growing an app. Right? So analytics, as I said, it sits at the core of Firebase. It connects seamlessly with remote notifications. And based on analytics, the cool thing about this is based on analytics you can take some decisions. Yeah, this is analytics stream view. In stream view, you can see live events of data streams that's happening all across the globe. So if you want to filter out the users from Brazil who have crossed level 5 of your game, you can use stream view to go there. It will show you version number. You can drill down deeper. So, and next, you will like it as a developer. You will love it because it's a debug view. It will show you all the analytics event in chronological order. This is the timeline of the events. It's the debug view, so only works with. You cannot see it in production, but with your development devices, you can see this. And another cool thing is, so say you're not happy with this view, right? You want some other view. You can export the analytics data to BigQuery, and BigQuery has its own reporting solution, so you can build your own analytics using BigQuery and Firebase Analytics. So one simple example. So this is one simple game. Let's say Bingo Blast. Right? When you open it, you see these two are test apps. Here in the Android app, you can see how many monthly active users. There are like 22,000 monthly active users. How many in-app purchases done? How many users are impacted because of some crashes that happen? And same, you can add multiple apps here, right? So here in the iOS apps, you can see how many monthly active users, how many purchases, and the same thing here. This is just the overview when you log in for the first time. And when you drill down deeper and you see the analytics dashboard, you'll be able to see how many active users. What is the average revenue? What is with analytics? You get two things right out of the box here. How many users open the app? Or retention cohort. It is very interesting. So it will tell you how many users were using your app on week 1, And out of those, say 100 users were there. Out of those 100, how many users are using your app on week 2? How many users are using your app on week 3? Out of those. So it will show you like a triangular thing. It's a good metrics to see why users are not returning. Right? So you can see this. You can see this matrix for this, and you can also see how your users are engaging with your app. What is the time they're spending on the app? How many sessions? How many daily engagement is like say 12 minutes 4 seconds per user. This is the daily engagement. So if you want to improve the daily engagement, you can based on this you can take some decisions, right? In-app purchases. So among in-app purchases also you can see the total revenue. You can see which version of app your users are using. So in this you can see there are still 5 users who are using older version of the app, and most of the users have migrated to the latest version. You'll be able to see all this. You can see the devices which users are using. And when you drill down even deeper, you can see the events. You will be able to see this. This is actually just include the Firebase analytics library, and you will see all this out of the box. Not all, maybe a few more that is custom, but you will see things like app opened, first time open. So here you will see how many counts of these events happened and how many users. So if I click on the achievement achieved page, achievements page viewed, sorry. So there is this many counts happened, this many users opened it, what is the count per user. You can drill it down even further, so to figure out a user behavior and user properties. In audiences section, these two you will get without making any changes, all users and purchasers. If you want to filter it out more, you want to know who are your Canadian purchasers, who are Australian purchasers, you want to create Indian purchasers, or any other user segment you want to create, you can create it here, and you can see the activities, you can see the filter right here. Here you can see the activity of the user, what is the average revenue per user. So as like it's analytics, right? So you will be able to see a lot of things, and if you want to make some product decisions, you can use the analytics view for this. So this is very good thing, funnel. So everybody uses some sort of like e-commerce application, Flipkart or Amazon, something, right? So let's say I have a e-commerce application. I want to know. I sent a notification to all my users saying, there's a big Diwali sale or maybe New Year sale, and how many people actually clicked on the notification, and how many users actually went till say checkout page, and how many users actually bought it. So you can use funnels. So in the funnels you can see this is tutorial begin, tutorial complete. So you can create funnels like this: how many users received the notification, how many users opened the notification, how many users finally bought the product. You can see the how it's happening. So let us say you have an app which has got 5 screens, and people are not navigating to the third screen. Like people are dropping off. You can see the drop percentage here. So if the drop percentage is higher, so you can actually make some decisions. You can say, okay, there's some problem, that's why this is getting dropped. So maybe I can improve my app in this area. Yeah, so that's about analytics. So now let's move to developing your app. So we'll see this section here. So real-time database, as I mentioned, it's a cloud-hosted NoSQL database, and you don't have to worry about synchronization and conflict resolution. Firebase real-time database takes care of this, and you can access it directly. So this I didn't say earlier, but you don't need any REST APIs, any network calls, anything. You can directly access the database with your app, update the database, get the data. You can fetch it. So this is how it looks like. So these are, you can think of them as different users or maybe single user in different devices. So one device or one user sends an update to the database, and Firebase real-time database takes care of updating everybody who's listening, so that you don't have to push it or poll it. And dealing with flaky network connectivity, it is one of the big issues. I remember that I had to create an app in my previous organization. I created this app, and the requirement was you create this like support chat application for this app, and the user's experience should not actually deteriorate because of network connectivity. So I ended up creating executors, thread pools, and broadcast receivers that actually that's looking for network connectivity, so that once the network comes on, you have to send the messages which were not sent because there was no network. With Firebase real-time database, it takes care of all those things. So as I mentioned earlier, Firebase is making our lives easier. Once the network comes on, it will update, and once it updates, it will update everybody who's listening to the data, everybody who's listening to those to that particular node of the data. This is an awesome actually feature that got released. So Firebase real-time database, it's great, but it has some limitations. One of the limitations that actually one of the biggest limitations of real-time database is you cannot perform search based on more than one condition. So if you want to find out things like give me all the pictures uploaded by users who are in India, I cannot do that with Firebase real-time database. There are some workarounds to do that. You can do some client-side filtering, you can have some custom fields, but some dirty tricks are there. So this was an issue with Firebase real-time database. So Google came up with this Firestore. This is if you're familiar with MongoDB or other document-based database, right? So Firestore is like that. It's still in beta. It got announced on 1st of October. It was available for the alpha users for the past month or so. It combines the best of real-time database and the Google Cloud Platform. So you get all the flaky network handling and synchronization, conflict resolution. You get all this, plus you get the document-based database, and with it the global, scaling, and with it you get searching, and you get global scale app. You get a global scale database. So this is how it typically looks. It stores data in collections and data. Data collection, documents and collections. Sorry, it's still in beta. You don't have to worry about synchronization at all. And, same thing that you get with real-time database. And once you connect Cloud Store with Cloud Functions, you get a truly serverless experience. Yeah, so maybe I'll show some demo. So I have this sample app. So this is the app we showed in Firebase Hackathon. It's got improved a bit. I've added some more Firebase features. So this uses a lot of Firebase features. So just one feature that I want to show is here. This is actually using the real-time database. Sachin, would you like to please add one comment here? So he'll add a comment from here, and it'll get updated here. It's in the first picture of. Okay. Yeah. So now he adds a comment here, and I get a comment right here. Properly with. So this you can see his face, you can see his name, right? This is using Firebase Authentication. He used Google login to log into our app. And whatever comment is there, so all I've done in this, let me show you the demo code. So yeah, here if you can see, where is yeah, you can see it's less than 100 lines of code. There is no network connection. There is no third-party library. Just Firebase. Oh, sorry. This is on some other branch. Okay, it's giving me some error. Anyways, so as you can see, like without handling anything, I'm getting a truly I've got a backend, and it's like a real comments that he's adding, right? It's all happening in real time. So it's called real-time databases because I am not asking for the new data. I'm not asking for the server. I'm not polling. I'm not polling the server. If there's a new data, give me the new data. Give me the new comment. Give me the new comment. This app is not doing that. So what Firebase database does is, whenever there is a new comment, it will inform that, because since it was open. One second. Yeah, because since this was open, Firebase database knew that okay, this is listening to that. So whenever there's a new item in the data, it will add it here. So I get this without with what, like 100 lines of code. Okay, back to presentation. Oh, Firebase authentication. As I was saying, when you want to use authentication, you will want to deal with multiple third-party sign-ins and maybe email address sign up, and then maybe phone numbers, right? And doing this is actually a lot of work, and it's only for like what, authentication, because the real app comes after that. So spending Firebase motto is don't spend time here, spend on your actual app. With authentication, it's about email, password, social providers. You can integrate your existing auth systems also. So anonymous auth, it's like you want to create an app where you don't want the users to log in. I mean, I sometimes what I do is when I see an app, it asks me to log in before I can explore the app. I don't install the app, or I uninstall the app. So if you support anonymous auth, so you can allow users to browse through your app with some limited functionality, and once the user likes your app, users can actually sign in, and you can connect this anonymous user with the new user. So it supports that also, and yeah, you can add phone number authentication as well. For for this sign-in page, there is a Google login and there is a login with Twitter. This is the code. This is the code. It's got what, like 400 lines of code. So how many of you think it's a lot of lines of code just for login, Google and Twitter login? It's a lot of lines of code. I mean, yeah, you're getting Google and this login, right? So what Firebase did is, for this also a library called Firebase Ui, and with this, you get with using Firebase Ui, you get something like this. You get something like this. You can sign in with email, phone, Google, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub also. I've not added GitHub, but you can add it. It's fully customizable. You can customize it as per your app's theme. And you know how many lines of code I wrote for this? Yeah, just this much. This is what, 9 to say 10 to 20, like 12 lines of code, and I got that UI. And it's not just the UI, entire login experience. With this, you can allow users to sign up also, forgot password flow, login with Facebook, Twitter, everything is handled. I mean, you'll have to create, for respective third parties, you'll have to create an app in their developer console. But after that, in the client side, this is the only code you have to write. So it's that easy. using Firebase and getting this look and feel. You can customize it. You want to add your logo here, you want to add your branding there, you can add it. So how many of you think authentication is cool now? I mean, authentication is easy. Okay, thank you. So please do check it out after you go home, right? Functions. This is one of the very cool features of Firebase. It lets you run a piece of server-side logic without having to worry about servers. So this, some people call it function as a service, some people call it serverless architecture. So serverless architecture doesn't mean there are no servers, right? Serverless architecture in all the scenarios, of course there are servers. In Firebase also there are servers. It's just that we don't have to deal with the complexities of managing it. We don't have to do it. As and when required, Firebase will provide the server and it will execute the logic, whatever you like in Firebase Cloud Functions. So, and functions, it seamlessly fits with a lot of Firebase features. Like I can connect it with authentication, I can connect it with real-time database or cloud Firestore or hosting also. So one use case that I want to show you is this. So I can write a cloud function that will get triggered when this database in the real-time database. When this happens, I want to execute this function, which will do something and they'll write it back. So for this, let's say think of a use case that in the comment section that you saw, right? Like Sachin just added a comment and we saw it here. Now, I don't want anybody to, write some offensive language there. It's an app for kids maybe, and I want to filter out offensive content if anybody is writing it. I can use Firebase Cloud Function to filter out offensive content. So when the message is written in the Firebase database, my Cloud Function will get invoked, and it will sanitize the message. It will write it back on the database, and yeah, you're done without no client-side changes, no app updates, nothing. Okay, so there is a problem in this. Can anybody tell me what is the problem in this whole scenario? There's one big problem here, except you. I mean, So the problem here is Firebase real-time database. It doesn't know, the data is being written from here or from here. So now it executes the logic whenever something is written. So this writes something, it executes this logic. Again, this writes something, it will again execute this logic. Again, it will write something. Again, it will execute this logic. This is an infinite loop. So for this, what you can do is you can have a flag that message is sanitized or not, and it will when the loop will break here when you check for the sanitized message, the sanitization flag. Another use case is you have some sort of social media app and you want to inform your user that you have gained a new follower, like Twitter. This guy has actually started following you. You want to send the notification. With this, you can do this. New follower is there. It writes in the database. You invoke the cloud function. Cloud function has, because it is running on the server side and it has access. It has admin privileges. So you can send cloud functions and you can send a either dynamic link or push notification that, hey, you have gained a new follower. Another use case with this is you want to upload a picture and you want to create a thumbnail, or you want to maybe do some image processing. So you can write a storage Firebase function. Whenever something new is added, you use the function. The cloud function gets triggered. It will convert it to thumbnail. It will save the thumbnail here, and then it will write the metadata about the image here. You can also write in the storage. So you can write it. Yeah, that's it. So after that, what you can do is to improve user experience. The next time your user opens the app, you can download thumbnail first. So user will not feel like there's too much loading or something. Download thumbnail, and in the background you can download the actual image. So it gives it improves so much user experience to like a whole new level without writing any client code. This is all happening in the server. So let me show you this more. By the way, I just clicked on login with Twitter. I have a Twitter app in the developers.twitter.com, and so there are all the setups needed before you do this. Okay, so this app is like basically, share the pictures. You can comment on it. You can share this. You can download it. You can like it or unlike it. So can you just add one more comment that says, this is a stupid comment? Just write a comment that says this is a stupid comment. So what will happen in this case is I have written the cloud function. It will sanitize the word stupid. This is a stupid comment. It explains to wonderful. This is a wonderful comment. This is magic of cloud functions. There is absolutely no change in the client. So that was the cloud function, one of my favorites. Firebase hosting. You can create you can host your static Firebase, static HTML files, images or videos or audio, and you can host it directly in Firebase hosting. And it gives you, among the other things, a lot of things that it provides, it gives you free SSL by default, so you don't have to worry about security, and it also gives you free custom domain. I mean, if you have some custom domain, you can connect with it without without paying a single rupee. So it's the static content. It's SSL by default, free custom domains, and with hosting you can actually connect cloud functions that we just saw, right? These cloud functions you can connect with hosting to make this static hosting into a dynamic one. Okay, how many of you have this a resume website? Students or professionals also. You have this, right? Okay, I don't have it. I don't have a resume website, but I wanted to create it. So, like this website, this is static, right? I don't think there will be a lot of users. I'm not expecting a lot of traffic in this page. Who will come to see for this, right? Unless you mention somewhere in your resume or you share it with someone. You can create this, and you can create this your domain, johndoe.com or whatever your name is .com, and you can connect it with Firebase. So let me just show you this. I created one and I hosted it entirely on Firebase. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's some website I created and hosted in Firebase. You can see this is a custom domain. It's good to have a resume website, right? And you get it for free of cost. All I paid is the registration of that domain, the learningdrew.com. It's responsive, and here you can actually use cloud functions to make it responsive. You can submit new message from here. You want to send. This is something like, if you want to connect with me or hire me or something, this is a resume website. You can have this, and whenever somebody has submitted, you can have this information saved to your real-time database. You can do that also using cloud functions and Firebase hosting. Storage. So storage is where you store all the users' file, maybe private file or public files also. You can use it, and this also comes with you don't have a remote connectivity. So let's say I just took a video that is probably, let's say, 20 MB, and my phone is on 2G, so it will take a long time to load, or probably it will disconnect in between, so I have to worry about it. So what Firebase storage does is it relieves you of all those problems. Just add your file and forget about it. It will handle it. Not exactly forget about it. You'll have to check if it's uploaded or not, and you will need to get a callback. But with this, you can upload the files. We are using actually Firebase storage in the demo that I showed you to store all the pictures. In Firebase storage, this is a bucket by default, and this is how you store the pictures. And you can directly, access the pictures right from the console. So we have talked about development. Now let's talk about crash reporting. This will be a small section. You can see crashes and impact. You can drill down with version. You can see whenever there is a bug, right? You will want to know like if this bug is happening in ASUS phone, which device model, which OS version, which manufacturer. It will show you all the crashes, everything, all the stack tests it will show you. And even if let's say your app is it's released and it's in it's a pro-guarded app, right? So in pro-guarded app you cannot see the stack trace. It will show you some A B C D. So you can upload your mapping file. It will show you the real stack trace, and you can figure out where the issue is. And you can integrate it with analytics. This is how it will show you how many errors are there, how many users impacted. This is the error sort of conception, and you can click on it. It will show you the whole details of the crash reporting, why it happened, which device it has happened, and because of this, because now Firebase is now a part of Firebase, so this will be upgraded to Firebase. Crashlytics. So the current existing Crashlytics users don't have to worry; they will be upgraded gradually. Or if you want to try it out, separately, if you want to try it out, sign up for Firebase Alpha program, and you can try out Crashlytics. You get this experience right in the console. It will tell you like which part of geographically speaking, which part of my users, which group of my users are having trouble, or there is a latency there. So it will give you some things by default. Just add the SDK. That's it. Okay, there are many Android developers, right? How many are there Android developers? Okay, a lot of people. Good. So, okay, one question for you. You want to create a library or a SDK, and you want the users to actually use it, and they don't have to write a single line of code. How will you go about it? So let's say you have created a library. I just imported the library. I have not written a code to initialize it. Nothing. No code at all. The same thing that happens here. So I import Firebase crash reporting, and no code at all, and it's reporting crashes here in the console. How can you do it? Any solution for this? So you understand the question or not? How can you create a library that requires no code for initialization? So no, even that will require somewhere register. You have to register it, right? So how crash reporting does it is they have a content provider. If you have dealt with content provider or SQLite databases, right? If you've dealt with those, so it will call the onCreate method when the app is first launched. So what this crash reporting library does is it has its own content provider. When the app is launched for the first time, it gets hold of the context, and it uses that context to to access app resources and connect to Firebase. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You can add your custom traces also. If you want to, so for example, in our app, for the first time, it's taking a lot of time to load. I want to know what's taking so long, right? So I can see this. I can add this trace. I can figure out what's the issue. And for performance monitoring, right out of the box, you add this SDK. It will tell you two of the most important things, and one of them is the network connectivity, the startup time, and the network request and their latency. Or you can add custom traces also. So let me show some of these. This is the performance section. Yeah, by the way, this is the new Firebase console. I have written some code, but even if you don't write it, you will get things like app foreground, network success rate. You will see all these traces. And yeah, because I'm the only one who's testing it, so only Indian users. You can see traces. So there are some custom traces like landing page and load page. These are the traces I added. So it's taking this much time to load. So maybe something is wrong there. So maybe I can check it out, right? When you click on this, you can also see the median, how many number of users. Usually it helps if you have a lot of users. So right now there's only 2 users, and both of them is me actually. In network section, you can see, okay, it made a request to Facebook because I have added Facebook authentication there. What is the response time? What is the success rate? How many failures? So let's see. Here, it's talking to some website and it's taking a long time to load. So maybe I can do something here. So if you want to turn it down and you want to figure out the issue and you want to fix the latency, you want to improve the performance, you can use Firebase monitoring. And if you want to see real-time database, I don't think I showed you, right? So real-time database, this is the Firebase console, and the project I've opened is this Pixel project. In the real-time database, you get a Cloud Firestore also, and real-time database also. This is the core feature of Firebase. Now Firebase is, as you already know, it's become a huge, it becomes a unified platform. So as I mentioned, this is one single JSON that stores all the data. So I have all the users, I have all the photos, the metadata of the photos, the likes, the comments. So this is real-time database. And then the storage if you want to see. All these pictures that we have uploaded. Yeah, all these pictures. These pictures are here inside this folder. Yeah. Thumbnails. You can see all the pictures. You can upload new pictures from here. This is the storage. In the hosting file, it will show you. Okay, I've not hosted from this project, some other project. Okay. In the crash reporting section, yeah, how many instances, how many errors to users. It will show you all those things. Okay, these are the errors. You can click on this one error, it will give you the stack trace. In this app, if you see, I added actually this menu item, crash the app. It will actually crash the app. So I mean, just to test crash reporting. So when you're using this app, don't click on this. Click on that. Where is yeah, performance we saw. Okay, let's go back to the PPT. That was Firebase, mostly the development part, and the last thing or the development part is test lab for Android. So as I mentioned, hello, this lets you test your app on actual devices. You just upload the APK. So what Google has this device farming. They have actual devices put up in the data centers. So you upload the app, they will download that APK in those apps. It will run the instrumentation test cases. It will also run the crawler, and it will give you all the reports, so that you don't have to buy all these phones, different popular phones. As easy as this. You open this test lab. You can browse and upload the APK from here, and you can continue. It will show you this. It will tell you like it's a real device or a virtual device, in which landscape mode. If you click on it to drill it down, you can see the activity map. It also gives you screenshots. In instrumentation, if you have written instrumentation test cases, so it actually launches the app, it does something, it closes the app, and then you see the performance, right? So you can see it actually has videos. So you can actually see the videos of how your app is instrumentation test case is running. and all those things. You can see it here. You can see screenshots here. You can see activity map, like how the robocrawler is going among your activities to look for any vulnerabilities, any crashes, any bugs that you left. And if something is not running, it will tell you, it will give you the reports, it will give you on which device it crashed, what is the reason. You can drill it down from here. So in this section, as you can see in the app version, so the people who are using the previous version of the app, I mean, they have got very few number of crashes, and the recent version, whoever has upgraded the app, they've got a lot of crashes. 96% of the crashes here. So maybe there's something, there's some problem with the latest update that you pushed. You can drill down with iOS version and iPad, I mean device type, version, OS version. So yeah, that's about it. So that was how Firebase helps you in developing your app. So next we have is growing a business. So we have seen this part. Really something there? No. Yeah. So we'll talk about this. Analytics, we have seen how it connects with all the Firebase features, and how it helps you. How it helps you take decisions and product decisions, and maybe how it helps you understand the user behavior. So we'll see that in this section. So cloud messaging. If you have the cloud messaging SDK installed, that's it. For targeting a particular set of users, or just sending a notification to engage your audience, all you need to do is go into the console, and you can write a message. It will be delivered. If you want to customize the experience, that I want something else to happen when I click here, then you'll have to write some code. But just for like advertisement purpose, or a one-time push notification, you can do it right from the console. So why is it? Why is this important, right? So recently, when I was developing this, Android app and iOS app. One of my friends was developing. One of my colleagues is developing the iOS app. So now my client is more interested in developing the iOS app. He said, okay, Android will develop later, but focus on iOS first. So we developed this iOS app. Now he said, okay, now we need to send push notification. So I proposed Firebase for cloud messaging, and he liked it. We're now using that. So we are actually handling the client, and our client is handling the server, so her server part of it. So I don't have any control over there. So next, when I created this Android application for the same thing, how many changes were required in the server side? 0, no changes. That's it. Your server does not need to know who you're sending it to. I mean, server needs to know who you're sending to, but server doesn't care if that is Android or iOS or something else. For server, it should be, give me the destination, give me the message, I'll send it. And for Android, it comes directly from the Firebase cloud messaging. For Apple, it goes via the Apple push notification server, and it goes to iOS app. It's so, like, server is, it doesn't even care, and it should not actually care. If it's dependent on the OS types, then you'll have some conditional logic, and it becomes dirty code. This is a great statement. The best code is no code at all. Like, no code, no bugs, right? So yeah, with this no code. And notifications is built on top of simple UI. Anybody can do it. Any layman can do this. Yeah, you can set the message text, you can set the label, you can set the delivery date. Send it right now, send it maybe right after Diwali, maybe send it when in the start of the weekend. Set it here. Choose your user segment. So you select the app, and I only want to send it to Australian purchasers. That's it. This is called targeted advertisement. So I'm just targeting this segment of my users. I maybe have a good offer for them because it's some Australian holiday or some of their festivals, so I can just do this. If you want, you can add convert events also. Did anybody raise a hand for a doubt or something? Okay. So you can add a conversion event here. Yes, sure. So like give me like 10 minutes. 4:45, right? Yeah. So you can have you can connect this with Firebase Analytics and you can create the funnel. How many sent, how many opened, how many in-app purchases happened. So it's I mean like otherwise what you have to do is there's a lot of things you have to write code and then you have to collect the data, then you have to segregate it, then you'll need some sort of BigQuery to filter this out. You can also set some advanced options. This is for developers, not for marketing guys, right? This is for marketing guys. No code at all. And yeah, here you can see this is a very realistic figure that this many notifications sent, this many got opened, and this many conversions. And you can define the conversions. Conversion is opening the notification or adding the item in your e-commerce cart or actually purchasing the item. You can define what is conversion, and you can see how is this happening. Okay, if you see that there's too much gap here, right? So it's probable that the notification you're sending is not attractive enough, or maybe it's offensive to some people, so they are just ignoring it. So based on that, you get a lot of insights also. So this is Firebase Cloud Messaging. So it's not just here. This is notification that you set from the Firebase console. What if you want to send notifications based on some events? Like you will want to write some server-side logic, something based on some events you want to send some notification. So we can use cloud messaging is for that. And this is something when you want to just send the notification, you don't want to take any in-app actions. You can use notification. Okay. App indexing. What app indexing helps you do is it will help your app appear in the search result of your phone, be it iOS or Android. So now user is looking for something, and Google knows that your app is something that it provides this thing. So it will give you right here. So you can also do indexes for like private and public content, because we know that this is user device. So user is probably looking for, if user is looking for payslip and you have some sort of payment solution app and you provide payslips, you can index your app to appear here when user is looking for payslips. So for a user, if you see from a user's perspective, it becomes so easy. The content discovery and content, otherwise user will have to open the app and go there. If you have indexed your app properly, it will appear right here. And users can go to your app right from here. This is a deep link, deep or dynamic link. Integrated with Google Search, index the app content, and you can Google will actually boost the search ranking. This is a nice name, I guess. So how you develop it is you create this app and you say that, okay, I have this second app installed. You tell this to Google via this configuration file, and it will tell you the App Store ID or the package name. Then it will say, okay, there's an association file. So Google will use this association file to come into your app. So now when the user is searching, looking for this, Google will say, okay, wait, it supports universal links. This is actually iOS thing. It supports universal links. So, okay, and I know it's installed here. So Google will actually show it right there. It appears in the search results. And Google knows, okay, user is actually looking for this. That's why the user has this app installed. So it will boost the search ranking. It came from here to here. So that was app indexing. So what happens is if your users are not using the app, right? If your users are maybe use the app for a week or so and then they're not using it, so you want to re-engage your audience. So you can use cloud messaging definitely to re-engage your users. But there's a setting, right? You can go to the settings and you can switch off the push notification for the app. So in that case, how will you go about getting your users to use your app? This is one good solution. You use app indexing to get your user back into the app. There is a survey that says user typically uses probably 10% of the app. I have 232 apps installed. I use like 7 of them only. If you count monthly, maybe 10 of them. So this is what happens. You'll want to engage your audience. You'll want to keep them engaged. You will want to make the users come back to your apps. So these are the, I mean, app indexing is one of the solutions that you can use to get your users back in the app. And if you have the cloud messaging thing, you can do that also. Next is remote config. This is also great. You can customize user experience on the fly. So basically, how I describe it is update your app without actually updating it. So you don't have to push an update, and you can update the app. You can change the behavior. You can change the flow of the app. You can segment your users, and you can provide specific flows for that. So this is the also for this config. You open it. Here it will show you some segments. You can create more. How it works is it's a key value pair. It's a key value pair. So this is the key, level 2 time. This is the value. This is the value, and this is not just a static key value pair, right? You can set this value based on a lot of conditions. So for this key, the value is 50 for Australian purchases. For default value is 70. You can set this based on conditions, based on some user properties, based on geographic locations. So this is actually a good tool for A/B testing. But the good thing is now you can do A/B testing right from the Firebase console. There is a first-class support for this now. Recently, I mean, after the 1st of November, there is a first-class support for this. So is everybody familiar with A/B testing? So A/B testing is like, let's say like there is a four of us who is developing an app, and the 2 of us, we want to have this UI. The other 2 guys, right, they want this UI. So now we cannot, we don't know which UI to put. We're just fighting among ourselves. So what A/B testing is you define a success criteria, and then you give this experience to part A users, you give this experience to part B users, and you see which part is actually meeting the success criteria. So based on that, you can take some decisions. And Firebase provides you this support, A/B testing support, right in the Firebase console. This was not there earlier. This was recently introduced. Experiment how users are reacting to new features, and you can see which variant is performing better. So you can define some success criteria. Like I want my users to use this feature. So this is the part 1 to do it. This is part 2 to do it. In my app, in this app, this demo app, right? I want users to share the photo, but if here people are not sharing it, I want them to share it more. So I have some values configured, and based on that, the success criteria is user actually shared. Based on that, if variant B is performing better, I can roll out this case to all the users. Yeah, roll out gradually, no rush. And it works with notifications and remote config. So if I show you this console, yeah, so there are some colors, and there are some keys and some values, and there is one field called geography field, and for this actually there is some values. For this field, the value is this based on some countries, and this is the default value for other countries, and we can set that. And if you want to see this app, this is a regular user. Okay, let me log in again. So the experiment that I'm doing here is, this is A/B testing. You can do it with remote config right here. So I'm running this experiment called dynamic share. So if you have enough number of users, it will show you, okay, there is no clear-cut leader yet, or otherwise it will show you, okay, variant A is the clear-cut winner because the success criteria is huge there, and variant B is performing poorly. You can see this. There are very few number of users here, so I can't show this. Yeah. So they are all performing equally right now. This is the dynamic share experiment. So if I try to create a new experiment, um, you can give some name. You can pick the app. I only have one app here. And here is where things get interesting. You select the percentage of users you want to experiment with. I don't want to experiment with all of my users. I want to experiment with 5% of my users, and whichever is the clear-cut winner, whichever variant A or variant B, whichever is performing better, I want to roll it out to the rest of the 95% of the users. So you can select that. Okay, let's say 5% of the users I want to experiment with. You can add other variant A, variant B. These are my remote config keys. So I can have this. These are the people. These are the people who are actually, not part of this experiment. These are the people who are involved in the experiment. You can add some variant and you can set goals. This is still in beta, but yeah, definitely worth checking it out. So let's say, I want to send a notification to all my users that there is a new product available there, and but I don't want to roll it to everybody, because it contains some flashy things and some people don't like that. My app is very simple, so I'll roll it out to, let's say, 5% of the users or 10% of the users, and if people are liking it, I'll roll it out to everybody. And Firebase is smart enough to know that since these 10% of the users were involved in the A/B testing experiment, so we'll not send this notification to these 10%. We'll send it to the rest of the 90%. So you don't have to worry about these things. This is all you're playing all these things in the console. Uh, Dynamic links. So have you, maybe at some point of your career, have you heard of this concept called deep link? Right? Some of you have heard. So what happens is, I was showing you this kitten meme thing, right? So you're looking for something, your app turns up, you click on it, and it opens the kitten part of your application, not just the landing page. So what dynamic links do is, these are deep links done right. So let's say I'm sharing something with, let's say, Mayuri, right? I'm sharing something. Okay, this is a game I created. I want to challenge you. Now Mayuri has it. Now this deep link will work perfectly if she has the app installed. What if she doesn't have the app installed? What if she's an iOS, right? I'm just sending an SMS. So dynamic links, as it says, it's the deep link done properly. It survives app installation process. Once the app is installed, it's launched for the first time, you get some callback. You can create dynamic links right from the console. There is a REST API. You can use that, or you can use the SDKs to create it in your mobile app. These are dynamic links. You click on the link, you can see how the performance is, how many clicks happen, on which time of the day. And Firebase Invite is actually, it's based on top of it. It works on iOS and Android. You can share a gift to somebody. So when the app is first launched, so let's say an e-commerce application, and you send a gift coupon to somebody who does not have the app installed. So with Firebase Dynamic Link, what it will do is, Firebase Dynamic Link is smart enough to know that you don't have the app installed. So it will take you to your appropriate app store or Google Store, Google Play Store or App Store. It will take you to the download page. You download the app, and once the download is done and the app is launched for the first time, it will give you this information which was used to install this app in the first place. Like, I share a gift with somebody, and they install the app. After they open it, after they install the app, they get it. This is one cool example. After this, we'll take some break. Right? Okay. So now somebody from Madhu is sharing, I would like you to challenge in a game of this Bingo Blast. So if you're using deep links, right? So what will happen is you'll have to install it, then again you'll have to challenge it. So now if you just do this with dynamic links, this is possible. You do this, and you are the sole, decision maker of how this links will behave. If the app is installed, if the app is not installed. So now, however these links are made, so this will take you to, because whoever created this link actually decided to take the user to this website, to this Bingo Blast website. You can decide to take it directly to App Store, like this. Go to App Store and you install the app. You see the description, you install the app, and you start playing it. So with dynamic links, what you can do is you send an invitation. User is taken to the App Store or Play Store. You install this, and after the installation is done in the first launch, you will get this. You get the challenger right there. I mean, this is just a game specific thing, but since this lady challenged this to this person, right? So without having to send a challenge again, once the installation is done, the challenger is right here. So this is actually a very smooth user experience. Yeah, so let's take a break for some time.
I hope you're enjoying the session as much as he is enjoying to share his expertise with us. By the way, are you enjoying Firebase? So after the break, we'll have a hands-on session and it will be more interesting, so stay tuned.
So this sample app code I've already given you. This is the sample app code that we're seeing here. For hands-on, we can use either the same code or we can use this also. So we covered till Firebase dynamic links and invites. This is one of the major announcements that happened in Firebase Dev Summit Amsterdam on 31st of October. Firebase Predictions. So how many people here know about machine learning? And how many people are actually implemented machine learning to learn something? 1, 2, okay, 3, 4 people maybe. 5. Okay, so what Firebase Prediction helps you do is it will empower you with the power of machine learning without becoming a data scientist. You can include power of machine learning in your app right from the Firebase console without writing a single line of code. I mean, provided there is a condition that you have been using Firebase Analytics for some time. So there are a lot of students here also, right? So machine learning is actually a good field if you want to explore your career opportunities. And with Firebase Predictions, you can get that power in your app. It uses Firebase Analytics to predict user behavior. So as soon as you include Firebase Prediction, you start using Firebase Prediction. Yeah. Somebody asking a question? So it doesn't matter actually, which type of app you're using, a photography app, a music app, or a game, e-commerce, or whatever. You can machine learning. You can use it to understand user behavior, and you can take actions accordingly. This was like a mind-blowing feature when I was watching this session. By the way, I encourage you to watch this Firebase Dev Summit sessions also. So let's say you have a game. And there are some users who are happy, there are some users who are neutral, there are some users who are actually not able to finish the game, who have reached level 4 of your game, but they are not able to complete level 4 because that's too much difficulty probably, right? So with analytics, you can use predictions to segment out, okay, this is the segment of users who are unhappy or who are actually not able to clear this level 4 of the game, and you can, using remote config, you can award them some extra life in the game, or maybe some extra superpowers so that they can defeat this whatever that is. You can also one thing I need to mention here is, as soon as you start using predictions, you get 4 results right out of the box. These are churn or not churn, spend or not spend. So if you want to explain, like churn is the probability that your user will come back and use your app again in the next 7 days. Not churn is the probability that your user will not come and use your app in the next 7 days. Similar for spend and not spend, the probability that a user will spend some money in your app and the probability that the user will not spend some money in the app. How many of you actually have played Fruit Ninja, Half-Brick Studios, right? It's a good game developer studio. So they use Firebase Predictions, and based on predictions, what they do is they predicted that a user who is about to leave the game, who's about to quit the game, they say, okay, they show a pop-up, okay, you play just one more time and we'll offer you 500 coins. This helps them engage their users like 20% longer than usual. 20% is a big thing. I mean, it's a big amount. So if you are, let's say, if you're an e-commerce website, you're purchasing something, and you know that if you can predict, okay, this user is actually, he wants to purchase, he has been lurking around here for a long time, maybe, offer some discount, and user will purchase it. So you get the power of machine learning without getting a PhD or without getting without becoming a data scientist with predictions. This is, if you want to test it out, it's already out. And you can actually connect it with remote config, and this basically, as I already mentioned, it uses analytics data to predict user behavior. And if you want to, some other predictions, custom predictions, then also you can do it with this. Yeah, Admob. This is you want to earn money, you can target your audience based on Admob. You can use engaging format like videos, interstitials, and ads. A lot of apps are using Admob. You can integrate it with Firebase SDK, and if if you want to use it with prediction also, I don't know if it can be used with prediction as well, but if it can be used with predictions, so if I'm developing an app, and let's say this is a segment of users in my app who are actually spending some money in my app. They're helping me earn money, and this is a segment. And no offense to anybody, right? This is a segment who are not spending any money. I'm not getting any money from these users. They are just using my app and they are not buying it. They're not buying anything. So what can I do to earn money from this segment of my users? This is the majority of my users. What can I do? If they're not buying it, I need to come up with some alternative options to earn money, right? To help my company make some revenue. So I can use predictions with this, and I will show targeted interstitial apps to this group of users. They have made some purchases, so yeah, they're good to go. No ads for you, but there will be ads for you. And as a result, I'm increasing my source of income, and and if I show ads to these users, they'll say, okay, I've paid like $1,000 and still I'm seeing this ad. I'll uninstall my app. So you can target it, you can segment your users based on predictions, and you can use Admob. You use it in conjunction with Admob. So that was Firebase. It will help you in each stage of your app development journey. So just a small recap if you want me to do so. Real-time database, it's a real-time JSON database which saves your data in a single JSON, and it helps you with synchronization and conflict resolution. There's authentication, which is a one-stop solution for all the authentication needs. You can combine authentication with real-time database to say that, okay, this real-time database is accessible only to the users who have been authenticated. Otherwise, just deny the access. You can use authentication with cloud storage. You can also use it with hosting and crash reporting. Test lab, cloud storage is where you store users images and audio and video files. And you can use, if you're a game developer, you can use game files also. You can save game files also. Test lab is a device farming from Firebase, where you can upload your APKs and you can get instrumentation, robo test cases, and unit test cases. You can run these test cases on actual and virtual devices. Hosting is how you host a website, and cloud function is how you make it dynamic. Cloud function is how you can run a piece of server side JavaScript logic without having to manage the server. Crash reporting helps you to delve deep into your crashes, find out where the crash is, and help you fixing it. And it will soon be upgraded. Upgraded to Crashlytics. Performance helps you gain insights of your app. What are the network requests your app is making? What are the where are there bottlenecks? What are the what are the areas which need improvement, which are taking longer than expected? Analytics, it sits in the heart of Firebase, and it combines with other Firebase features. Cloud messaging is a platform push notification solution. Dynamic links is deep links done right. So you can use dynamic links to invite people. You can use dynamic links to share content. You can use remote config. I did show you remote config. I'll show you that. You can use remote config to update your app on the fly or to change your app's behavior on the fly without actually pushing an app update. App indexing you can use to make your app appear in user's device when user searches something in Google. Admob is how you earn money by putting ads in your apps, and AdWords is how you campaign for your app or your business. You can use that with Firebase. To learn more, you can join this directly, firebase.google.com. There are some code labs here. Just open this and you can look for Firebase code lab. And there is a Firebase Alpha program that I encourage every one of you to join. So this will, if you are a part of this program, you will be experiencing the features like Firebase Predictions. I knew about it before it came out, a month before it came out, because I am a Firebase Alpha user. And yeah, it's a very cool feature. So you will get to try new features that are about to come. You'll get to see like the future of Firebase, and you can help you can help architect that future by putting in your feedback. So that's Firebase. Yeah, thank you everybody. That was all I had. I will start with hands-on in like 5 minutes. Okay, I want to show one thing. Okay, there's no like for this. So here you can see the 3 likes for this picture. These are the 3 users who liked it. The background is green and the user name is actually blue. Now let's say I want to change it. So I'm using remote config. That's how I can change it easily. So in the remote config console of my app, here I have the text color. So let me change the text color. I want to change the username text from that blue to this red color. Go in my console. Oh, where is it? Here. I change this text color thing to the new color. This is the hexagon color. Update this. So this part is updated and changes are published. So now changes are published, and once your app is actually fetches these changes, so you can write these, fetch remote config and activate those changes in the on-create of your landing page or on-create of your home page or some other pages, or so like that. So now you can see this is still blue because it's not fetched those changes. So let me go back. I have written actually on the open of that activity. I've written those changes. still blue. Now it's like those changes, it activated it. Now let me see if it works. Yeah, it's red. Everything is red now. App change on the fly, like that, just like that. I can even segment it to to target a specific set of audience with A/B testing, right? The thing that I mentioned earlier with A/B testing, what you can do is I want to see if how users are actually sharing this. I want to increase the sharing part that is here. Users can click on here and even users can share. This is how you share the dynamic link. So I want to increase this, so I can actually change this. There is a text here. It is using this text is what is getting displayed here. I want to change the text. I can change there. With A/B testing, I can say I can have like two different sets of text, and I'll see okay how many people who saw this text are sharing, and how many people who saw this text are sharing. So this A/B testing is like it's so easy. It's become so easy with Firebase. So thank you everybody. Those of you who want to stay for hands-on can stay. So that's all I had. Thank you. You have been a wonderful audience. Thank you.